West Indies didn't have the greatest start to their innings. Under 30 in the power play, under 50 at the 10 over mark. Bangladesh are not doing too much better. Virtually identical in the power play and just about a few runs ahead of them where at the 10 over mark. 55 for 2 in 10 overs are what Bangladesh are at the moment. Naeem out for 17. Litton Das there on 15. Keeping him company is Shomo Sarkar, who's come into the side for Nurul Hassan. Remains to be seen how well he goes. Look at the wicket takers. One of them, Jason Holder, who again, as we keep reiterating, could not make it to the 15 as one of the regular starters. Here on Cricbuzz Comm Box, joined by Joy Bhattacharjya. I think very quickly in the space of a match and a half, West Indies are starting to realize it was a mistake not to have Jason in the first place.
I know you can see a lot of red and apologetic faces out there. Of course, the West Indies are a confederation of nations, so the politics out there is even more pronounced because nationalities and holders from Barbados, and they must have been really upset that he's not playing. But what a performance! What an amazing performance! He's really been the player of the match so far.
Yeah. Imagine the sixes that he got at the end, along with, of course, the kick from Nicholas Puran, and then 3 overs, 1 for 11, keeping it tight over there. But the real question is, do they have enough in that bowling attack to be able to stop this Bangladesh side with the advantage of Shakib Al Hasan already having come and gone?
Yeah, look, at this point in time, I think they're doing very well. And one of the reasons, and if you look at the economy rates, only Dwayne Bravo's gone for 9, and that's just a single over. And Andre Russell got hit for a 4 one side. The rest of them, they haven't really. I mean, they're just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 fours hit in this entire innings. And that tends to tell you that, there's not very much happening out here. The big problem here is they're not targeting anyone. See, what happens is they're playing balls on their merit. Now, if you can play balls on merit in a test match or sometimes even in a one-day international match, but in matches like this T20 matches where you're starting rate, and right now they need to score at 8.8, they have to target bowlers. They allowed Akil Hussain to settle down on length. They couldn't hit Jason Holder. They tried to hit Andre Russell. They couldn't hit him. Who are they going to hit? Who are the bowlers that they're going to go after? Because so far, they haven't proved they can go after the bowlers, and they need to go after bowlers. If you notice what happened in the previous match, we had this fantastic situation where Sri Lanka actually targeted that the fifth bowler of Australia, and that's just not happening out here.
In fact, we alluded to this earlier. Sri Lanka targeted Stoinis / Maxwell, and Australia targeted Chamira as well when he came on to play in the opposition, and Lahiru Kumara. So they knew who they wanted to go after, and they went after him. Very good point made by Joy. So really, if you had to assess the innings so far, yes, it's Bangladesh haven't quite targeted the opposition, but have you seen enough in the West Indian bowling to say they could continue the squeeze for the next 5 overs?
Yeah, I think they can, because look, Akil Hussain is okay. He's going to bowling his 3rd over. There's Jason Holder has another over. Ravi Rampal will be difficult to hit in the end because he's a clever bowler and he's just going to put it into the pitch and let the pitch do it. And 3 overs of Dwayne Bravo, and there are very few such finishers in world cricket as Dwayne Bravo. So the going is not going to get easier. The ball is also not as hard, and the closer they get to the target, the more nervous they'll also get. That are we close? I think also they missed a trick. I would have liked to see Mahmudullah Mushfiqur in before. I think getting Shomo Sarkar in, if you're going to put a Shomo Sarkar in this early, he would have had to play a kamikaze innings. He'd have to bat at 9 and 10 and over. Otherwise, he's just holding up the place for a much more experienced batsman.
Well, to be fair to him, he's at least scoring, the only batsman scoring in excess of 100 at that 10 over mark.
That's
but
true.
Yeah, the experience of Mushfiqur and Mahmudullah, and as we speak, Shamu Sarkar has picked up another boundary. Just to wrap up, the good thing about the West Indies at this stage is not only the bowlers that you mentioned, they also have the option to go for a Roston chase should they require it. So they have the luxury of that. Yes, they don't have Pollard on the field, so Pollard as a bowler, Pollard as a captain will not be available to them. But we need to just hang in there, because I suspect we have seen Shomu Sarkar. We praised him for the boundary, and straight after that, it's a wicket that's fallen. Shomo Sarkar, 17 of 13 deliveries is walking off, and I think this could be a big blow. I know it'll bring experienced players to the party, but how big is that wicket for the West Indies?
It's a big wicket for the West Indies, because what's happening also is that it's not easy to come in here and slog from the first ball. So if you're going to come here and play 3, 4, 5 balls, 7, 8, 10 balls, that's also a loss for your team. You can sneak in a couple of overs, and before you know it, the run rate is suddenly looking at 9.5, 10, and it's going to get increasingly difficult from here. So advantage definitely West Indies at this point in time.
Yeah, well, with going the way it is, all three of us, Joy, had sort of lent towards Bangladesh at the start of the innings. 142. We were expecting them to come hard, to make easy work of this West Indies bowling. Are you switching sides? I certainly am.
I'd have to say I'm going for the West Indies right now. What bothered me, look, Shakib had no option. He was clearly injured, had to go for it. But they just didn't target, didn't go after bowlers enough. And it's not that they were facing frightening pace. I mean, Jason Holder is accurate and difficult to hit, but Akil Hussain, Jason Holder, Andre Russell, these are not the bowlers that should be scaring them. These are not Starks and the Freedies and even a Hazelwood. So that's my problem. The fact that they haven't actually collared somebody and said, okay, I'm going to have a 15-20 run over. And that's the difference right now.
Well, West Indies also had a very different second half. The second 10 overs to their first 10. The difference is this is a run chase. The difference is a Puran, Russell, Holder type person is not there at the back end, but they have the experience of Mushfiqur and Mahmudullah. Who will prevail? We seem to think it's slightly towards the West Indies at the moment, but we're going to be back at the end to assess this game and to look ahead to Pakistan against Afghanistan. That's all from Cricbuzz Comm Box.